is just gravity. Okay? The pull of the earth. The force of the earth pulling the object. Ayan. So the only force acting on it is gravity. So gravitational force. Ayan. Kaya class, pag nasa without air resistance, kung yung object ay free siya na nasa air, so yung force na acting sa kanya is yung gravity. So therefore, ang tendency lang niya is dediretso siya pababa sa earth or papunta dun sa surface ng earth. And then since pababa siya, that means it's accelerating because there's a force acting on it. And the acceleration is at average na it's just due to gravity. And the value of gravity is, gagamitin natin is 9.8 meters per second squared or 32.2 feet per second squared. So this is for SI and this is for English. Ayan. Ayan. Kaya lang class, ayan. So yung gravity na yan, it's constant. It's an average. Average yan. So at any point in the atmosphere or in the air, yung G natin is ina-assume na lang natin na constant. So since ang acceleration natin is due to gravity, so therefore, acceleration is constant. And yung value ng acceleration natin is due to gravity, that's negative 9.8 meters per second squared. Bakit siya negative? So negative kasi, ina-assume natin yung direction ay pababa. So yung direction niya ay laging pababa at ina-assume natin na pag pababa at saka pakaliwa, negative yung direction. Kaya ina-assume natin na negative yung acceleration due to gravity na A. Okay. So that means, class, yung mga formula natin ay, I'm not sure kasi sa high school, pinapalitan siya ng G. Tama ba ako? Ginawa nyo ba yon? Na yung formula nyo sa horizontal, pinalitan nyo ng negative G. Okay, okay class, hindi ko naman sa ipipilit ko yung gusto ko. No? Ito kasi para sa akin yung pinakamadali. Okay, lahat ng formula na ginamit natin earlier, yung apat, will be the same formula. May apat. Nasaan? Nawawala. Will be the same formula that we'll be using for free-falling bodies. So yan, itong apat na to, mag-a-apply pa rin sila dito sa free-falling body. Kasi, okay, bakit? Ang condition para magamit mo ang apat na to, dapat yung acceleration mo ay constant. Sa free-falling body kasi, ang acceleration ay constant. Kung constant ang acceleration, that means talagang pwede mong gamitin yung mga formula na to. Kasi yung isang condition para magamit mo to, dapat yung acceleration is constant. Remember, acceleration is constant is different from acceleration, velocity is constant. Pag velocity is constant, acceleration is zero. Pag ang acceleration ay constant, so that means these four formulas of kinematics are applicable to be used. So since a free-falling body na vertical, okay, acceleration is constant, so therefore, we can also use this formula. May papalitan lang tayo. Okay? Ako, hindi ko pinagamit yung G para hindi na kayo nagpapalit ng formula. Ang papalitan lang natin yung delta X. So, imbis na magagamit tayo ng delta X, okay, gagamit tayo ng delta Y. So, yung final pa rin natin, final pa rin. So, that means yung formula pa rin natin ay delta Y is V initial plus V final over 2 times T. And then, yung delta Y is VI plus 1/2 AT squared. And then yung V final is V initial plus AT. And then V final squared is equal to V initial squared plus 2A delta Y. So lahat lang ng delta X, pinalitan lang natin sila ng delta Y kasi hindi na tayo sa horizontal motion. Nagiging vertical na tayo. At yung vertical na yan, yung delta Y na yan is still a displacement na ang value niya is Y final minus Y initial. Okay? At kung ako ang tatanungin, mas madali ito kesa sa horizontal kasi given na lagi yung acceleration, which is negative 9.8 meters per second square. Ayan. Kaya there's no point that you'll be using this formula because A is always given. Ito na lang ang hindi nyo laging gagamitin sa free. Parang never ko na itong ginamit pagdating sa free-falling bodies kasi acceleration is given na. So I rather use the other three na merong acceleration because it's already given. So that's why I tend to neglect this formula pagdating sa free-falling bodies. Kasi wala siyang acceleration. Given naman yung acceleration. Or probably you can use it in checking if your answers are correct or not. Okay? May question? Same formula. Okay. Kaya lang, let's define initial velocity. So I want to discuss what initial velocity is. Initial velocity. Ayan. May question kayo, i-type and then or you interrupt me if you feel like I need to repeat it. Okay, initial velocity. So meron tayong tatlong klase ng motion. Okay? So meron tayong tatlong klase ng motion. So yung una is yung drop. Okay? And then we have the kasya ba siya dito? Okay, thrown upward. And then yung thrown downward. Okay, class, you need to be careful or you need to be cautious of these three. Okay? Drop, thrown upward, and thrown downward. Pinag-uusapan lang natin initial velocity. Pag drop siya, class, so let's say it's on the building and then okay, I will drop the ball, kunwari. Ayan. So, the-drop ko siya. Ano ang kanyang initial velocity? Okay, tama, 0. So, tatandaan nyo, kagaya ng sinabi ko, hindi naman sasabihin na yung initial velocity ay sasabihin. Hindi naman siya sasabihin. Magsasabi lang sila ng word like stop at rest. Pag horizontal, nagsi-zero ang velocity. Pag sinabing it's at rest, started at rest. Or it's initially at rest. It's ganyan. Pero pagdating sa free-falling bodies, ang drop, ang initial velocity niya ay 0. So ba, sinabi sa problem, a ball is dropped at this building. Ganyan, at the height of. So pag sinabing drop, automatic, you think of it as the initial velocity is 0. Okay? Drop. Next, thrown upward. So, nandito siya. And then, itatapon natin siya pataas, tapos bigla siyang bababa. Ayan. Ano ang masasabi natin sa kanyang initial velocity? Okay. This time, initial velocity is not equal to 0. But, initial velocity is positive. Yeah. Yes, Jim. When we go to second law, we will be dealing with that. Okay? Pag thrown upward, initial velocity is not 0, but it is positive. Okay. So, baliktad naman sila pag thrown downward.
Question po ako, pag sa throw down po ba, negative po ba ang ano niya, displacement?
Alex, ulit.
Throw down po siya, ang displacement niya po ba is negative po ba or 0 pa rin po?
Displacement. We will be discussing that later. Okay, so ano muna tayo sa initial velocity? Okay. We'll go into that later. Oh, sige. Well, anyway, I will be answering your question. Wait. Dito man tayo sa initial velocity. Pag thrown downward, ang initial velocity niya is not equal to 0, but it should be negative. Ayan. Okay, class, hindi kasi sasabihin sa problem na negative yung velocity. Ang sasabihin niya, the ball is thrown at a height. Downward, ganyan. So, positive pa rin yung ibibigay niya, giving it a velocity of, let's say, 8 meters per second. So, sinabi niya, tinrong daw siya pababa at 8 meters per second. So, since sina-assume natin na ano yon, free falling yon, at ina-assume natin ang pababa ay negative. So, dapat kung i-ano natin siya sa number for initial velocity, it should be negative nun. Okay? So, dito natin drop, initially 0. Thrown upward, initial velocity is positive. Thrown downward, initial velocity is negative. Ayan. So, let's go to dun sa sinasabi ni Alexandre na displacement. Okay, class. Tatandaan ninyo, ang displacement, di ba? Ang displacement natin ay, okay, for displacement, delta y is equal to y final minus y initial. Ayan. Y final minus y initial. Normally, di ba position ang pinag-uusapan? Pag position ang pinag-uusapan, itong dalawa kasi ay position. Di ba pag sa position, kailangan natin ng reference. Yan. Ang reference lagi natin ay, as much as possible, is yung kung saan siya tinapon. So, initial, yung sa initial. So, halimbawa, dito, so initial niya, okay, kung gagawin natin to ng reference, ito niyan ay magiging 0, initial. Kung dito rin, 0. Kung dito din, 0. So, halimbawa, tinanong, nung umano siya sa lupa, halimbawa dito, ano yung naging displacement niya? Is it positive or negative? Kung reference natin ito, okay, tapos nandito yung final niya, initial and final. So, ano ang magiging displacement niya? Diba negative? Kasi nasa baba siya ng reference. Kaya na-expect natin yung displacement niya ay magiging negative. Pero halimbawa dito, tinatanong is yung maximum height. Saan ang inabot niya at maximum height? So, dito yung tinatanong niya. Ito yung reference natin. Since nasa taas siya ng reference, so yung displacement mo ay magiging positive. Pero kung ito ang tinatanong niya, nandito siya, ayan. Kung nandito siya, so that means yung displacement mo ay negative. Okay? Magiging negative yung delta y kung baba ng reference. Magiging positive yung delta y kung nasa taas siya ng reference. Jim, let me correct you. Distance is scalar. So that's always positive. Distance, okay, pag tinatanong ang distance, you can get it from displacement. Kaya lang, tanggalin mo lang yung sign. But this, ang pinag-usapan natin dito ay displacement. Yes. Okay? Okay, so that's the initial velocity and displacement. May question? These are the things that you need to lagi think about pag nag-solve kayo ng free-falling bodies. Okay, so let's go to the trajectory or the path taken. Okay? So this is a very, very, very important. Ayan. So yung path taken or trajectory, ayan. So halimbawa, nandito yung object natin. Tapos, itatapon natin siya. Siyempre, kung walang air resistance, babalik siya dito. Kung saan mo siya tinapon, so doon siya babalik. Tama? Kaya lang, ano lang natin na magiging ganito yung trajectory niya. Para lang ano natin. Okay, so nandito na yung bola after some time. Okay? So, halimbawa, meron ako ng object at tinapon ko siya sa pataas. Kung tinapon ko siya sa pataas, that means I will apply a force para magkaroon siya ng velocity. Ayan. So, magkaroon siya ng velocity. Okay? Okay? And yung acceleration natin is still downward. Laging downward. Ayan. Pag tinapon natin siya sa pataas, that is, acceleration is downward, but velocity is upward. So, that means the object is slowing down. Okay, at the maximum point, so if this is the max height na kaya niyang i-reach. Ayan, at the maximum height, okay? At the maximum height, find na velocity is equal to 0. Ayan. At the maximum height, velocity is 0. Okay, let's say that this is point A tapos point B. So this is point A. Ayan. So ito, let's say that is, let's say this is point A, point B, point C, point D, and point E. Ayan. So 5 points sa path ng object natin. Okay, the maximum height, velocity is 0. So this is the delta Y max. Ayan, delta Y max. Okay? Ayan, pagdating dito, okay, siyempre, meron na siyang velocity B. Sino mas mataas sa dalawa? Okay, since it's slowing down, yung magnitude ng VA is greater than the magnitude of VB. Pagdating naman dito, siyempre, yung magnitude ng VB is greater than the magnitude of VC. Kasi nga magsi-zero siya. Okay, pagdating niya dito, di ba mabababa na siya? So that means the direction of VD is in this direction at yung VE natin ay nandito. Ayan. Okay, kung kukunin natin ang relation ng dalawa, ang VD ay greater than the magnitude of VC at yung VE is greater than the magnitude of VD. Okay, kasi pabilis siya ng pabilis. Okay. Next. Class, tara nyo ito. Kung magkaka-level sila, so halimbawa, ito magka-level at ito magka-level, ayan, merong relation yung dalawang velocity. Okay? Ang relation nila ay kung ano ang magnitude ng A equal siya sa magnitude ng E kasi magka-level sila. Ang difference lang is opposite yung direction. Okay, magka-level yung B at saka D, so that means the magnitude of B is equal to the magnitude of D. Kaya lang nga, opposite yung direction. Okay? Next, in terms of time, so length time TA, tapos TB, tapos TC, TD, and TE. Ayan, TA. Yung time from A going to B is the same time from D going to E. Or yung time from A going to C is the same time from C going to E. Kaya sinasabi nila, time to go up is equal to time to go down. So yung time to go up is equal to sa time to go down. Kung ang time niya para umakyat doon is the same time para pumunta siya dito. Kaya yung velocity dito at saka velocity dito, they will have the same magnitude but opposite direction. Same is true dito. They have the same magnitude but opposite direction. So that's the main reason, kung iano natin siya sa toong buhay, di ba nakakamatay yung mga ligaw na bala? Kasi nung time na binaril sila pataas is mabilis na mabilis. Yung time na dadapo sila ulit sa baba to the same level, same din yung velocity nila. But, same yung magnitude ng velocity but opposite in direction. Okay, ganun din na masakit matamaan ng bagay na inulog siya sa mataas na lugar. Kasi nga, kung mataas yung lugar niya, so habang bumababa siya, pabilis kasi siya ng pabilis. Pag tumaas, pabagal siya ng pabagal, pero pag pababa siya, pabilis siya ng pabilis. Kaya yung time din, in terms of time to go up will be equal to that time to go down. Kaya kung kukunin natin ang total time, that's equal to time from up plus time to go down. So, pwede naman nating sabihin na yung total time is equal to 2 time to go up or 2 time to go down. I-times 2 mo na lang. Kasi add mo ito, time dito. Yung time din mula dito papunta dito is the same time mula dito papunta dito. Kasi yan. Because time to go up is equal to time to go down. Symmetrical yung path taken. Okay? At yung kung same time, same velocity, syempre, yung displacement dito is the same ng displacement dito. Baliktad lang yung direction. May question? So let's now go to the max height. Ayan. So, di ba yung path taken natin, ayan. So, at max height, V final is 0. So, kung compute natin siya using V squared is V final square, V initial, plus 2A delta Y. So, V final is 0. So, therefore, yung maximum height natin is equal to negative V final square, but final ako ng final. V initial squared over 2A. Or, that's negative VI squared over 2. Di ba yung A natin is equal to negative G? So, negative G. Cancel mo yon. So, yung max height o Y max is equal to VI squared over 2G. Wala lang. Kung gusto nyo lang ng shortcut. Pero kaya naman, madali lang naman siyang i-derive. Kung lang gusto nyo lang siya ng shortcut. Pero kahit madali lang naman siyang i-derive. Pero gusto nyo lang ng shortcut, ayan, V squared over 2G. Wherein G, that's the magnitude of the acceleration due to gravity. That's 9.8 meters per second squared.
Sir, may question po
Okay.
ako.
Yes.
Di ba po yung sa G is always 9.8 po ba? Minsan po ang ginagamit ng iba po is 9.81. So, alin po ba ang dapat i-follow po?
That's a very good question. Our book only use 9.8.
Okay po.
But if you use 9.81, ko-consider ko naman.
Sige po.
Yung kasi, ano ba, 9.806 yata. 9.806. That's why they are making it 9.81. Yung librong reference natin gamit, 9.8 lang yung ginagamit niya. Pero yung iba, 9.81. But anyway, I can consider naman both. But, sa mga examples natin, I will always use 9.8. Okay? So that's a good point. So, yung isang part ng ating lecture, ito. Ayan. So, sinulat yung mga constants ng mga G. That's why yung sinasabi ko kanina 9.8 is just the average. So, tignan nyo kasi yung gravity natin. So, saan ba siya pinakamataas? Pinakamataas siya sa North Pole. Based dito sa apat na latitude na given. So, pinakamataas siya sa North Pole na 9.83. Pinakamababa siya sa Ecuador country, yung country na Ecuador in the South America na 9.78. So, kaya class yung 9.8 is the average. Yung average yung ginagamit natin. Bakit hindi sila pare-pareho? If you have studied the universal law of gravitation, nakadepende kasi yan sa mass ng isang bagay. Kaya lang, ang Earth kasi, di ba, ay hindi naman siya purely solid. So, di ba, sabi, 3/4 of it is covered with water. At yung mass ng water, it's not the same mass as the mass of land. Kaya nakadepende kung nasang location ka, yung gravity. Apart from that, syempre, yung layo mo pa doon sa surface mismo. Kaya talagang kahit nasan ka sa Earth, hindi talaga pare-pareho yung G. Kaya napag-decide na lang na yung average yung gagamitin, yung 9.806. Okay? Because of the composition of the Earth. So it's made up of different materials which have different masses. Kaya yung gravity nakadepende sa mass. Based on the universal law. Ayan. Kaya iba-iba talaga. Ayan. So, free from rest and so on. So, let's have an example. Okay. May question kayo, you can speak to the microphone, or you can type your question. Okay. Ayan. So, let's have our example number 6. Okay. A baseball is hit so that it travels straight upward after being struck by a bat. So if I have the bat, drawing ako. Ayan. So, na-hit daw niya. So, nag-travel siya upward. Ayan. Okay, a fan observes that it takes 3 seconds for it to reach its maximum height. So, kung ito yung max height, yung time to reach that is 3 seconds. Find A. Determine A, the initial velocity, and B, the maximum height. Ayan. Height it reaches. Okay, ano ba yung given natin? So we're given that time is 3 seconds, and then acceleration is negative 9.8 meters per second square. And at max height, what can we conclude? Anong meron siya at max height? Okay, yung velocity niya ay 0. So tama kayo, velocity niya ay 0. Okay, so since we have these 3 given, so what formula are we going to use? Siyempre may B final, di ba? So letter A, V final is V initial plus 80. But V final is 0. So V initial is negative 80. So that's equal to negative 9.8 meters per second squared times 3 seconds. So what's the initial velocity? Okay, it's 29.4 meters per second. Okay? Question? B, how about the displacement? So what formula are we going to use? So wala tayong choice na iwasan yung V initial kasi lahat ng formula ay merong V initial. Which one? Which one do you think? Okay, yung kanina. O sige. Yung V final squared is V initial squared plus 2A delta Y. Tama ba? Ayan. So let's, this one is 0. So delta Y is negative VI squared over 2A. So that's negative 29.4 squared over 2 times negative 9.8. So delta Y is tama ako, 44.1 meters. Actually, we can also use yung delta Y is equal to a VIT plus 1 half 80 squared, or delta Y is VI plus VY over 2 times T. So we can use this 2 as well. We can try. Ayan, lalalim pa dito, lala dito. So that will be 29.4 divided by 2 times 3. 29.4 divided by 2 times 3. Okay, 44.11. Or 29.4 times 3 plus 0.5 times negative 9.8 times 3 squared. So that's also 44.1. Ayan. Kasi there's no point, there's no formula for us to avoid V initial. Kaya kahit alin sa mga natitirang formulang gamitin niyo to solve for the displacement, so that will be correct. Okay, may question? So let's proceed to the next example. Yan ang sinasabi ko. Ito na. Pwede bang i-solve nyo muna to? Kayo muna mag-solve. Can you solve that? Hindi ko alam, Jim. Okay, so let's solve it. Number 7. Ayan. A ball is thrown directly downward with an initial speed of 8 meters per second from a height of 30 meters. So, if I will draw the figure, ayan, so that's a ball. It's thrown down at a height of 30 meters. Okay? And then yung initial velocity niya ay 8 meters per second. But, do not forget that the initial velocity should be negative because speed yung, sabi speed lang ha. So that means this is kasi downward. It's thrown downward. Ayan. It's thrown downward. That's why initial velocity is negative 8. Okay, I'm not sure. Not sure yet, okay? And then, ano pa ba? After what time interval does so? Ano daw yung time para mag-start siya dito? So we're also given that A is negative 9.8 meters per second squared. Ayan. So tinatanong ay time. Formulang gagamitin natin. Yung delta y is VIT plus 1/2 AT squared. But what is delta y? Okay. 30 meters lang? That's the height of the building. But if you will consider delta y, kung nandito siya, pumunta siya dito, that should be negative. Okay? Kasi displacement is downward. Okay, alam nyo, ang pagsasolve sa physics ay madali. I mean, pag nakakuha mo na yung given, i-apply mo yung formula, madali. Ang mahirap, ang nagtatagal kasi doon sa analysis. Yung tama ba? Yung gagamitin ko. Doon kayo mag-iisip, tama ba? Pag naisip nyo na, madali na. Okay? So, let's apply them. So, this is negative 30 is equal to negative 8 times t plus 1/2 times negative 9.8 times t squared. So, let's transpose everything to the left, sorry. So, this will be 4.9 t squared plus 8t minus 30 is equal to 0. So, and let's just use quadratic formula ng calculus. So what's T1 and T2? So I'll be expecting 2 answers because that's squared. So to solve for, alam niyo ba yung quadratic formula sa calculus? So mode 5, 3. Okay, mode 5, 3. Mode 5, 3. Then you type. So that's 4.9, that's 8, and that's negative 30. Ayan. So T1 is 1.79 seconds and T2 is negative 3.42 seconds. Ayan. Okay, may tinatype siya kanina. That's why tinitingnan. Nakatingin ako doon. Hindi ba nagkamali lang? You were? Okay. Okay, class. Dalawang sagot natin based on the computation. So ano yung consider natin? Okay, kasi there's no such thing as a negative time. So wala namang negative time. So therefore, this is the final answer. Delta Y, displacement. Kasi di ba, tinapon siya dito sa height na to, pumunta siya sa ground. So ano yung displacement niya from this point going to this point? Displacement. Since ang lagi natin kino-consider is yung reference, since nandito yung reference, we're in, therefore this is zero distance or zero displacement. Okay, so since nasa baba siya nung at nagpunta siya sa baba ng reference, so that means that's negative. Kaya naging siyang negative 30. Okay? O sige, meron pa na tayong 2 minutes. But let's add something to the problem. Letter B. Parang hindi naman siya sayang. Okay, what is the velocity? Speed. Hindi. Tatanungin ko, speed as it hits the ground. Okay, so what is the speed of the ball as it hits the ground? As it hits the ground. Okay, what's the speed of the ball as it hits the ground? So, kunin natin siya sa V final is equal to V initial plus, ay tama ba yung gagamitin ko? Hindi, ayoko. Doon ako sa squared. (2a delta y). Ayan. Ayokong gamitin yung ano, yung time. Iniwasan ko yung time kasi kumari lang, no? Kumari di ako sigurado sa time, tapos gagamitin ko pa siya dito, hindi mamamali ako. Sige. Okay, so that's equal to negative 8 squared plus 2 times negative 9.8 times negative 30. So what is the V final? And then you square root. V final is plus dalawa yan. Plus minus. Kasi naka-square root. Tama ba ako? 25.53 meters per second. Tama ba ako? Okay, lasang tanong. Positive ba o negative? Di ba pa nag-square root ka, dalawa yung sagot? Positive ba or negative? Kaya hindi ko masyadong gustong ginagamit itong formula na to. Kailangan ko muna mag-isip kung ano ba talaga, positive ba o negative? Kasi pababa. Okay, actually tama kayo. Kung velocity ang pag-uusapan. Ano ba yung tinatanong ko? Speed. Speed. Anong relation ng speed sa velocity? Di ba ang speed ay yung magnitude lang ng velocity. So therefore, since speed ang tinatanong ko, speed is 25.33 meters per second. Yeah. Be careful. Jim, be careful. Iba usapan pag tinatanong ko velocity. Pag tinanong ko ay kaya bigla akong naisip, gusto ko speed. Pag velocity yung tinanong ko, kailangan yung sagot may negative. Since speed ang tinanong ko, kailangan yung tanggalin yung negative. Okay. So that's it for today. We'll continue on Thursday. Probably we'll be starting projectile. I might discuss projectile on Thursday as well. Okay.